Hello, and welcome again to my Patreon. We're coming from my backyard because it's so nice out. I live in Texas and it has been in the 80s this summer, so I'm like, I gotta take advantage of this. Obviously, it's been like a miracle. Though I know that, like in other places, like Arizona, I think has been getting record heat. I don't know. I heard that in passing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think that's crazy because it's been so nice here, so wonderful. So anyway, yeah, we're in my backyard today, but I still brought my cute little yellow chair out here because I thought it complemented the outdoors. Anyway, so we're going to talk about today when we allow our limiting beliefs and fears to fester under the surface, they have no choice but to manifest in our physical reality. So this is why it's easier to just deal with them head on when we notice them come up rather than just keep suppressing them because we're scared to look at them because we're afraid that it means something about us or that it will mean something about us, or we're afraid that it might be true, so we just don't want to look. There's a various amounts of reasons. One second, let me open my water. So yeah, um so if you think about our physical reality as a manifestation of our subconscious mind, that helps a lot. That helps a lot. So our physical reality is a manifestation of our subconscious mind. And why is it this way? Because we're like in the womb of God, essentially. Like the feminine aspect of God is like the womb where creation happens. And then the masculine aspect is more and it is like the masculine aspect of God is more like that none of this is real, so why are you afraid? Whereas the feminine aspect is more like nurturing and more like, I know that you think that it's real, and so I'm gonna show you your beliefs. I love you so much that I'm going to physically create your beliefs externally so that you can see them and release them. Right? So the feminine aspect of God is not creating our lives this way for any reason other than it's what you believe, and so it is. She loves you. God loves you so much. And you have so much freedom, and God supports your freedom so much that even if you believe something quote unquote negative, she is going to reflect that back to you because you have so much power. She's just reflecting back to you your own power. You say, oh, I'm not good enough, and so it is. Your reality is going to reflect back to you the belief that you're not good enough. But in reality, she's trying to get you to see the belief. It's popping up in front of you all day long that you don't think that you're good enough. It's being reflected back to you all day long because she's trying to get you to see it so that you can clear it, so that you can say finally, like, you know what? No, I've had enough. I've had enough of believing that I'm not good enough. Like, look at my reality because of it. I'm going to choose to change my belief. I'm going to choose to move on from that. There's a big, loud golf cart or something going by. I'm hoping when I cover the mic like this that it hides the noise. I don't know. Anyway, so yes. And it becomes very clear that you believe in your limiting beliefs when you're reacting to them defensively. Like, for example, for so long, I believed that I was stuck whenever I worked at restaurants. I believed that I was stuck in a restaurant, that I was not good enough to pursue my dreams. And that physically manifested in so many ways. I dropped out of college. I almost failed high school. I tried to join the Air Force. That didn't work out. Like, everything was reflecting back to me my own belief that I am a failure, my own belief that I'm not good enough, my own belief that I'm not smart enough. And it wasn't until, and I would react defensively. I was resentful. I was angry. It pissed me off. It pissed me off so bad, especially towards the end when I was like just stuck in a restaurant and I knew that I was meant for more. I knew that I had something greater in store. I just had no clue what it was, but I still had that limiting belief that I wasn't smart enough, that I wasn't good enough. And so I would react defensively to that belief externally. Whereas when I moved into a state of observation, of observing that belief, when I was able to say, I'm tired of not believing in myself. I'm tired of not feeling good enough. I don't want this anymore. This is not what I want anymore. And then I flipped my reality from within. I didn't just stop working at a restaurant and then all of a sudden my life was better. I was still working at a restaurant, but I had to flip my reality from within, and I started being grateful for my surroundings. I started looking for the lessons that I could learn with the people around me. I started looking for connection with humans, with customers, with coworkers. I started looking at the world differently because I was no longer reacting to it from a defensive manner, because I did not any longer believe in this limiting belief. Now, it took a while for it to clear. It still shows up in my reality because it's like such a deep, deep belief for so long that it's still purging. But the difference now is that now I can just observe the places in my life where I don't believe in myself. Now I can just observe these cars are really annoying me today. Now I can just observe when it pops up and choose to release it through neutral awareness of it. Like today, this morning, I was still feeling this way. I was still having so many limiting beliefs coming up, but I knew what they were and I knew that they were not true. I believed them, but I knew that they weren't true. And so I chose to go on with my day acting as if I did not have these limiting beliefs. Like, if I let these fears that came up this morning hold me back, I would not be sitting here making this video right now. You see what I'm saying? So you have to act as if the limiting beliefs and fears that you hold are not true, no matter how deeply rooted they are. No matter how badly your ego wants you to believe in them, you have to act as if they are not true. That's where you release them, is when you can just go on about your day as if they are not true while simultaneously observing, like, oh, shoot, like, I really still believe that this is true. But I'm going to choose to not act from that space. I'm going to choose to act from the space opposite. I'm going to choose to say, well, what if it's not true? And what if I acted from that space of it not being true, that I'm not good enough? What if I just acted like I was good enough? What would I do if I believed I was good enough? What would I do? What would I be doing right now? So, yes. A lot of when noticed, I'm reading my notes. Don't allow your fears to fester under the surface. When noticed, immediately bring them up to the surface. Notice how tightly you're gripping them, right? The only reason that I was able to act as if they were not true for the rest of today, even though they were like pestering me this morning, was because I've released my grip. I don't want to be limited by them anymore. It's a choice to not want to be limited by them any longer, so I released my grip. Oftentimes what we do is we grip onto our limiting beliefs so tightly because we are afraid. We're afraid of our power. We're afraid of how great life could get. And that sounds so silly, but it just is true, because you're gonna hold more responsibility. The greater the power, the greater the responsibility. I don't know what superhero said that, but it's true. And we're afraid of that responsibility. We'd rather stay small. We'd rather other people tell us what to do. We'd rather other people tell us how to live our lives, because then we don't have to think so much. We don't have so much power. It's not our fault if shit goes wrong because we're not in charge, right? Whenever you step up, whenever you do make it a choice to be in charge of your own life, if shit crumbles, that's on you now. But I promise you, it's only crumbling because you were meant for something higher. Or you just need to keep more patience. If you're working diligently on something every single day, and it doesn't have to be something physical, it just could be you're working energetically every single day, you're working with your energy, it's going to pay off eventually. You just have to trust and believe. Trust and believe, and you shall receive. So I would challenge you to ask yourself why, once you notice a limiting belief, if you're not ready to act as if it's not real, I would challenge you to ask yourself why your grip is so tight. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid is going to happen if you release the grip on your fears? What are you afraid of? And just become aware. Just become aware of that. Become aware of your limiting belief, what you're afraid of. And if your grip is tight, just become aware of what the stories you're creating around if you release your grip. So I'm going to leave you with that. Those are your journal prompts for today. Notice your limiting beliefs. Why is your grip so tight? What are you afraid might occur if you release your grip? Okay, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful.